Back on gold dust woman, take your silver spoon, dig your grave. Heartless Carolyn, pick your path and I'll pray. Wake up in the morning, see your sunrise colors go down. Thousand lovers pick their prey, but they never cry out loud. Cry out. Or did she make you cry, make you break down, shatter your illusions of love? And is it over now? Do you know how? Pick up the pieces and go home.
All right. So, hey, Joanne and Drew and Wayne.
Hello.
Terry just had me send her the link so she can try the phone. So she should be back joining us. So yeah, our special guest is Jeremy York here.
I'm also sharing this out too.
There we go.
And maybe I'm back. Now we've jumped to the phone, so maybe the phone will work. Hell, I don't know. Hey Joanne. So yeah, but it's weird to come on and I'm live. So let me get caught up. How's everybody doing? And first and foremost, I need to send a shout out to Drew's mom, Kim. Today is her birthday. So happy birthday. Have a great day over there in the UK. And hey, at my house, if your birthday falls on Friday, then that means it's your birthday weekend. So go have a great weekend.
I get a birthday week.
On Monday or Sunday?
It depends. It depends on when it falls. Sometimes I try to sneak out 2 weeks. Just depends.
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Joanne wants to know how your cats are. All of your damn cats.
I have got bites and claw marks because I touched one yesterday.
Why did you touch one?
Because I mean, they're in my closet. I'm gonna have to be able to do something.
Okay, I'll give you that. All right.
Right. So
Anyway, this is a big week for birthdays too. Tomorrow would be my mom's birthday.
Nice.
And then the 24th is my daughter's birthday.
Wow.
Oh, well, happy birthday, your mom, and happy birthday to your daughter. And
that is interesting because my brothers, now they're 4 years apart, but their birthdays are May 24th and May 25th.
Oh, nice.
So theirs are coming up as well.
Well, since I jumped on late, we've already introduced our special guest of the day and all that.
Yes, just a little bit, just introducing that his name is Jeremy York. I'm sure everyone in the comments knows who he is.
I'm sure everyone does too, but this is a big day for us because after all this time, it's our first having the fabulous, wonderful Jeremy York on the show.
This is true.
So, I mean, it struck me the other day. Wow, yeah, we've never, uh, and Jenny, bless your heart, but we've never
Oh,
had Jeremy on the show. And I had to catch that comment from Jenny there because I told her this morning, my first thing to her, go get a COVID test.
yeah, she's at home sick. That's why she
Yeah.
didn't end up joining us last night. She has not felt well.
Right. And Wayne, your birthday is exactly 1 month before mine and Jeremy's.
And mine. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're the birthday triplets, kind of. He's a month before us, but
Well,
we'll give we'll give it to him. He's the 26th.
then you have the twink, so
One
quad.
one of my best
Oh,
friends who I
oh,
bowled with for many years, he has the same birthday as mine.
Hmm.
actually, one of our team members, the Twinkie as we call him, our website designer, he is also our birthday twin, triplet, quad.
Wow.
So yeah, if I went for a long time and never met anybody that shared my birthday, and now it's like, wow, I know personally two of you. So
And
that's pretty
now they're
cool.
coming out of the woodwork.
Yeah, all the June 26ers. Um, but see, I'm the devil though. I don't know if you know that, Jeremy, because I am 666.
6626. Wait, how was it?
62666. So either
Yeah,
way you do it, I
yeah.
Oh,
mean,
that. Oh.
yeah,
Ooh.
That's why her
yeah.
nickname. Well, that's one of the reasons her nickname is the devil.
Yeah, that's one of the
Now,
reasons.
now, if only you were born on the 6th instead of the 26th.
This is true.
This is true.
Yeah.
So, anyway, we have brought Jeremy on today, and I did hear you say something earlier, Jeremy, about um rants. And
Mhm.
and today must be Rant Day Friday because I woke up and chose violence today. And had to put my peace of mind out there. But I hear there's other people out there that are ranting about things about like the paranormal awards, for example. So
And I have
I
to say, I have to actually jump in here and say that I have actually, until Terry told me that was what we would be talking about, I have actually never even heard of the Paranormal Awards. So I would actually love to know a little bit about what they are.
same. I mean, and that's what I've been hearing that the rants in the field are about
Mhm.
is that it's a
It,
competition to be
it turns the paranormal into a competition. That's the only thing I have heard.
right, and that's, I mean, I guess if you look at it that way, but I don't know anything about it, so I thought, well, fuck, let's just get Jeremy on the show and ask him
Yeah.
what exactly are the paranormal awards?
Well, it originally started out. I don't know if you've ever heard of Higgy Pop. It's a website that is geared towards the paranormal. They do news and articles and things like that. And then um, for a few years, they did this thing called the Higgy Pop Awards. And I thought that was a pretty cool idea. They did like TV show of the year, series of the year, things like that, YouTube channel, and I thought it was a pretty cool idea. Get some
Right,
recognition out there for people.
right.
And once I started looking at everything, I realized that it was more geared towards the UK base, um, and they would have total less than five um, nominees from anywhere else outside of the UK. I know I've seen three from America. I think I saw one from Australia, but everything else was based in the UK. So,
Okay, Wayne.
no,
Well,
not really, not
we
really.
think that's why we brought Jeremy on the show because, in my opinion, I think it's all in the matter of how you look at it.
Hmm.
If I mean, I we're gonna let you finish, kind of talk about what your idea behind it was, but in my opinion, when I started hearing this controversy about it, I'm not competitive in the paranormal world. I'm just out here to collect evidence. To what I do for me to answer my questions, or when there's a client involved, and I've said this over and over and over and over again. Some people may look at this as being kind of backwards, but hey, I'm from Alabama. I could be backwards, right? I'm in it for the spirits. If there is a troubled spirit there that needs help, I feel that is my calling. That is what I am there for.
Now, we will
Uh,
say that one thing is it's not that we're not, like, if there is any sort of violence or harm being done to the clients, that does come
well,
first.
yeah, I mean, yes, that takes when a client calls me and says people are being harmed. Okay, this becomes an emergency situation. I get
That
my
takes precedence.
It takes precedence. I get my team on the phone and I tell them, we this is what's happening. We need to get there. And usually, if something like that, someone is being harmed, we kind of have a 48-hour, 72-hour thing that I want to get there and see what is going on. Now, that being said, if we get there and we find, that it's an evil whatever, I don't buy into that everything is a demon thing. But if we do prove that there's some kind of paranormal activity there, even if it's a bad spirit, they're being that way for a reason. So therefore, they need help too. So that's just my input on that. Is if you take, I mean, we can be competitive about everything. Who's got the best evidence? Who's got the best equipment? If you're that kind of mindset, then it doesn't matter what the hell we're doing. Investigating, doing these Facebook lives, whatever we're doing in the world, if we're competitive, we're going to be competitive. But I think to acknowledge someone for doing a good job, for having recognition, for doing a good job. And, you
That's not
know,
really a competition. That's
that's
just,
not a competition. That's just acknowledging someone for a good job. Now, I don't know, Jeremy. I don't know anything about it. So, is it a competition based award? I mean, how does someone get nominated? How does someone win? Tell us
how does it
the
work?
details. Yeah.
Basically, the way that I started it out as start nominating. Here's an email address. And the first year, I got like over 200, 250 emails for nominations. So it was already becoming popular with the people. Um, and then when it comes to coming up with the short list, and because there were some of these things that they had 20, 30 nominees. So when I got that, okay, let's put it to where we're going to take out the celebrities. Okay. And because they get all the recognition that you see on TV and the news
Right,
media.
they're out there on TV
Yeah.
already.
And then
They're
there's,
mad. They're doing it for the money.
yeah. So the people that you see on the short list, they're the ones who have been nominated the most who are not of celebrity stature. And I put that out there. Again, vote for who you want. Send an email.
So basically, what I'm understanding is anybody out there in the world, I mean, paranormal world, me, little old me down here in Alabama, someone could email you in and vote, nominate me or whatever.
Yep.
So I don't
And
have to have, I don't have to have, $20,000 in equipment or you know, 16 filing cabinets with evidence, or, go live 6 times a week, or I don't know, nothing. Just anybody could just send in and nominate me for just being me down here in Alabama.
Hmm. So, so with that, um, the Paranormal Awards was designed to cover the entire world, not just, oh, this is based in America, this is based in the UK, this is based in, no, it is to cover everything, the entire world. Because I hadn't seen anything like that. I'd seen some awards where it's really just kind of localized. So
Right.
like Pop Awards is localized in the UK. And not once did I hear any complaint about Higgy Pop Awards. But then when the Paranormal Awards came out, oh my, okay. So where's your double standard on that one? So why are you knocking on this one and not knocking on that one? So
I'm y'all. I'm struggling. I had to get on my phone
Mhm.
here, y'all know, and so I'm struggling to read this tiny little print
Where's your
here.
glasses, Terry?
In the house, I was trying to get in my closet in there and couldn't get a signal, so I had all my stuff in there. I grabbed what I could and came out. So, um,
I say that, knowing that mine ain't on my face either.
yeah, so it's basically a way of being able to get people recognized and, oh well, I see this name on this nomination thing. I don't know him. I'm going to go check him out. You know?
right.
Yeah.
So, okay, give me. I mean, I don't know, but give me a roundabout, or I mean, if you know, or how many nominations did you get in for this year's? I guess it would have been what, 2021.
Uh, there were 23 different awards. Um, see,
Thank you, Nigel.
I actually have a private group page for it, and there's even a small committee for it. So it's not just me. So there are
I think that's
actually
the best
other
way to
people.
approach something like that.
Yeah. So
Right.
there are actually other people who are involved in this, and we all put our inputs. Um, here it is. So, oh no, not that one. So let's, so like second medium of the year. That's what I got up here. What you saw on the nomination thing, there was 5 or 6 nominees for people to vote for. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 people were nominated for that award specifically.
So, how many categories are there to be that you can be nominated for?
There were 23.
23. Okay.
Yes.
And you said so there was like 16. I'm sorry, y'all can probably hear the dang tractor cutting
Hmm.
grass over here.
It's not
Um,
bad.
Yeah, and one of those nominees was a member of your team.
what? What?
Yep. I'm not going to mention who, but one of them was a member of your team.
Well, the problem with that is
Um,
our team is very small now.
yeah.
Now, well, wait a
So
minute. Tell me
so
what was the
what we
what
had to
was the
do
award?
to narrow it down was that there were some people that were just throwing names out without okay, why are you nominating this person?
Makes
And
sense.
Right,
there were several here that had those kind of comments, and we ended up picking those and not the ones that didn't have anything,
Hmm.
right,
because yeah, people thought enough of them to nominate them, but they didn't write down why.
right,
And that
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 makes
was
sense.
a decision that our committee had made up. You need to have a reason why.
Well, that makes sense because otherwise you're going to be inundated with people just
throwing names at
nominating
Right.
you.
nominating all sorts of people who don't even have anything to do with the category they're nominating them for.
Exactly.
Right. So
And
basically, this
Dawn
is
is
can
absolutely right. I can't control who wins because it is based purely on the number of votes.
right. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know when the tractors went by if they knocked my signal off or not. So, okay. My understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, this is not like the Academy Awards. This is not, well, and I'm just throwing names out that I know in the paranormal world. You know, Jess and I have remained down here very quietly doing our own thing for a long time
Hmm.
until we started doing this podcast and whatever you want to call it. So we don't know a lot of names. People will name drop. Well, and this is one that gets dropped on me a lot. And if he's listening, I'm just doing it because I don't really know the man, but his name has been dropped on me so much that's how I know him. George Shoplin, for example.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about George Shoplin. I do know here recently I have friended him on Facebook because I think we got in a group or something together. And I was just like, well, now that we're kind of in a group chat, and so he seems like a lovely person from, the little bits of I've seen maybe a live or two here and there where he's popped in and, wished everyone a beautiful day. And, but that's a name that gets dropped on me all the time. Who else gets dropped on me a lot? The Jenny Sullivan, which I'm proud to say now. And I do know her now and I love her to death. And she's a wonderful, lovely guy. One of my very best friends, Jenny. I love her so much. We are like peas and carrots.
We do love Jenny.
So, but her name was dropped all the time. I didn't know who the hell these people are. So it's not like you're putting out there George Shoplin and Jenny Sullivan and these are your people and you vote for them. You're just putting it out there that, hey, send in who you want to vote for and tell me why.
Hmm.
And so then once these people come down, you got your nominee category there, your top however many. Now, do you send that out for people to vote on that? Or
Yeah.
does your committee vote on that?
I put I put it I put it on the website. We actually have a Paranormal Awards website. Um,
Oh,
and the link to it is on the Facebook page for for that organization.
gotcha.
So people go there and they go through, and again, I got over 200 emails for voting.
Right.
Well over 200.
So now all the ones that y'all narrowed down, you like you said there was how many in the category? Four or
23.
five. Well, but y'all narrowed it down to how many? The five or six
Yeah,
in the
we
can.
try to keep it at five. Sometimes we don't have enough nominations on certain categories, so it'll be less than five. And sometimes we'll have so much that we'll put a couple more than five. I think one category actually had seven on the short list,
Right.
if
Okay.
I remember right.
Right. So
Um,
then you put these that are your nominees, the top five,
mhm.
on the website, and then people go vote for these people. And now, when they go vote, do they need to tell you then why they are voting, or is
No,
that just when they're
just for the
on their
nomination.
nomination? Well,
Yeah.
that sounds reasonable and fair to me.
Mhm.
So, like, okay, let's just say I wanted to vote for Jenny Sullivan. What kind of nomination statement are you looking for there? Can it be, well, I just think Jenny's fantastic, and I love the way she investigates, and and Jenny, if you're listening, I'm not saying I'm just using you as an example. Maybe she doesn't have all the best evidence, or maybe she doesn't have any evidence. But I love the way I watch her investigate live on scene, and I want to nominate her for that reason. Would y'all consider that a good enough nomination
Well,
statement?
any statement that you write down for your nomination, we are definitely going to take in consideration.
Okay.
The one that stood out the most for me was actually for Robert Murphy, and the nomination for him. I don't remember who it was that nominated him, but they said that his number one focus are people and the clients that he's helping. That's all he cares about is helping other people. That's a big statement for me
Right.
because that's why I'm in this
That
was in
would
this
be a
video.
big statement for me too, because I mean that's
Yeah,
me too. Right.
yeah.
That's how most
So
of us show me. I mean, I feel like any of us that I know a lot of people do not client investigate. But for those of us that do, I mean, that should be the number one goal. I mean, I
right.
say the spirit, but where the spirit, there's also a human, so it's the client,
Mhm. Yep. So not a problem, Wayne. That's fine. Everybody have their own opinions. It's not going to affect me. Honestly, it everybody have their own opinions. You like it or you don't like it. It's one or the other.
True.
Right, right.
And believe it or not, I've actually had some people. I won't mention names, but they would bash the awards publicly, but privately to me, there's like, I know I say this, I know I say that, but honestly, I think this is a good thing.
That's a little silly.
That
It
is a
is.
little silly. Why
It
be
is
back? Why be on the back burner like that? I mean, I
because they have an image to protect.
but wouldn't you
Hmm.
want your image to be honest and well, I mean, I don't know. Damn,
I
that gets
mean,
me on a whole other thing
well,
because
see,
I
this
get in
brings
trouble for
for
being honest and open and this
Yeah.
is
for
what the
me,
fuck it is.
for me, and this is just a shot in the dark completely here. It'd be a little silly to be promoting para unity and acting like that about
Yeah.
things. That's all that I will say.
Honestly, something like that is really two faced.
Hmm.
Well,
Stay
I mean,
consistent.
yeah, I mean, it's too fat. That's what I'm saying. Without just coming right out saying it's fucking two faced,
I chose
backstabbing,
violence today.
and well, y'all know I did. I done blasted the mofo today, and I'm feeling that it may be more before the day is over. I've been I'm angry at my house, and so I am an angry woman today. Well, I would go back and um
Mm.
uh
Two-faced people. Like I said, that would be real silly, in my opinion.
Mhm.
right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, well, shit. Let's just go there.
Oh God.
It was it's a holiday weekend from what I hear somewhere. So
Is that like it's 5 o'clock somewhere?
right
Gotcha. Just checking.
To be fair,
there.
every day is a holiday for something.
There's
Well,
actually a whole website you can go look at that tells you
Yep.
the holidays for every day.
Yeah.
let's just
And
call
some of these
this.
holidays, they really surprise me.
Well, let's just call
Yeah.
this uh Terry's fucking rant day.
Damn it, Terry. I was hoping we was gonna be at 7 days, and now I can't change it to 7. Now we're at 0.
Oh, we were
She,
at zero.
she's
Yeah,
actually at a three count on that.
yeah, but three count really already. So, um,
Well,
because
shit.
yeah, I just today is just not the day, y'all. So I'm going to put out a lot. Maybe that some people have their speculations. Some people maybe know. some people don't know. But we have Jeremy York here, me and Jess. We started this podcasting thing originally with Jeremy York.
Yes,
Then, you know, we let, and I won't mention,
we listened to some people and some
I,
things we shouldn't have listened to.
right, we listened to someone telling us that things executives were bad mouthing us, that, and the survey, Jeremy, we've kind of talked about that when we did our exit interview when we left things. Um, the day that the exit survey came out, Jess and I, because we had been listening to all this, and then there was a statement made by one of the things executives directly to me. So it was all kind of boiling and it all kind of made sense. And then that survey came out. And me and Jess were like, "Oh shit!" They really are about to they're about to boot us the fuck off things. That they want to get somebody to say we want this show going. So because I didn't know, and I don't, it's not like you and I are best friends, talk every day, Jeremy, anything like that. But what I felt I knew of you was you were an honest and fair person, and you wouldn't just throw someone off your network without something. So Jess and I were really like, he's trying to get his back up, yeah, to to come to us. And then when I kind of voiced that to someone else, oh yeah, 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 that's exactly what's going on. And then Jess and I had to go on air like 10 minutes later. And it was just, we were like, if anybody watched that show, I apologize. I hope it's been deleted and removed because we didn't know what the hell. And we were kind of in a whirlwind. And then a lot of other things happened with someone else at the same time. And some accusations were said, things were said, I don't know, wasn't there, and not my problem. But when all that went down, and you know, I had heard some stories about there was supposed to be some competition with our show Unlocked and Uncensored.
Hmm.
And Jess and I were like, what? We, this is a competition?
Yep.
So now hindsight. I see, I, Jess and I, Unlocked and Uncensored, our position on things was a direct target in a war because we were a competition. Even though we were, I guess you want to say, pulled in that direction, it didn't take us long to see what the fuck was really going on. You know, um, I have no hard feelings. You know, met some great people along the way. Learned some valuable lessons, but also learned my place is on things, and I'm saying this for everybody in the world to hear it. I, Terry Wilson, right here, went to Jeremy. Jeremy didn't know shit about shit about shit. I went to Jeremy and begged forgiveness for my mistakes and, asked him if he would have us back. And obviously, we're back on things.
Well, and obviously she did ask me privately before she did that.
Right, right, right. But, just because it's being Jess, and I don't know that you really know all of what's been said out there because Jess is like my child.
I
So,
am the fine china that we only bring out when we have company.
I try to shelter, my kids from a lot of the bullshit and from trauma and all that shit of the world.
Well, and
And
if we're being honest, y'all, I have bipolar disorder and complex PTSD. I don't. She's just as likely to send me into a complete panic attack as anything else, and my panic attacks tend to be horrible. So we kind of
right,
shelter me a little bit from the stresses of it, and I get brought in. That's why you
when
see me doing
when it's important,
schedules. Yeah,
when it's important, I could pretty much on most things, where our team is concerned, where our show's concerned, where our network is concerned, I could pretty much, say, yeah, Jess is good.
she
But if
knows
it's
whether
really
I say yes or
important,
no.
if it's really important, when shit's hitting the fan, I will say, okay, you need to know this is what's going on. So, just what you don't probably know in all this is it's been rumored, and if people don't believe me, like today, you know, I am not involved with anything in the fucking UK or in Japan, but I know what's happening because I sit back and keep my mouth shut. And today I
We
had
see
it.
everything.
I had it. I'm an investigator, y'all. I'm an investigator. I might run my mouth a lot, but I also know when to sit back and shut up. And I have sat back and shut up long enough. So I opened that can of worms this morning. So I'm opening this can of worms today. I went to Jeremy. Jeremy did not come to me. Jeremy did not go to Rosie, Temple of Phoenix, or that I know of. I mean, I can't even say that I know of because I know for a fact he did not. I was on the cover. Rosie and I were talking, and I was almost in tears telling her how bad I felt about what we had done to Jeremy because I didn't really realize the wrath of what had happened from, we'll just call it the shitstorm. I didn't really understand the wrath of what happened to the Things Network, when all that went down. And when Rosie and I were talking one day and she was telling me, my heart was broken. And it was in that I said, oh my God, let's call Jeremy. I want to beg his forgiveness and see if we can get back on things. So, Jess, it is being said that Jeremy came to all of us. And and,
Of
and
course.
I guess that things that are, you know, happening in other places that really have nothing to do with us are being said that Jeremy is the cause of that, that Jeremy came to all of us. And that's not how it went down, y'all. So there's my truth about it. And, we had Jeremy on the show to talk, and I've done most of the talking. So, but I just wanted to put that out there and clear the air as far as Jeremy York and Spirit and Skeleton Key is concerned. That is the fucking truth.
Well, and that discussion I was in from the very beginning, so I know that he didn't come to us because I was in the chat. I saw we went to him.
So I will go into a little bit of detail on that since now that everything's out in the open. So the survey had nothing to do with you. It was actually brought in someone else's idea. It wasn't even mine. Someone else brought in the idea. Well, what if we do a survey? Let's see how the network is doing in this, that, and the other. And it was right around that time, and I'm thinking, okay, I can see what people are going to get worried about this, and
Right, right.
I
And I'll
knew
just
that you would be worried about it.
I'll interject here just to point it for our followers that know we had done that. It wasn't really a hex; it was a trap, and there was
But we
some
did call it a hex, and it was a graphic episode. We will
right.
admit that.
And it was, yeah, because I'm like almost puking. It was nasty. I mean, it was nasty in the ingredients that I was using. It smelled really bad. It smelled. So yeah, just to give everybody a little backstory, Jeremy's survey came out like we did this on Sunday, and it was in the next week that Jeremy's survey came out. So it
Mhm.
all fell together at perfect timing.
It did, and the survey had actually been in the process of at least 2 weeks, so it was already being thought of before that episode even came out. Um, but yeah, when as you call it, the shitstorm, I honestly can't even think of a better word for that. It was a shitstorm. Um, the reason a certain person was removed from the network was because he was doing content that simply was not acceptable for us. Um, I'm not going to go into great detail of the content, but if any of you guys have ever watched even a single episode, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Well, I will jump in here. I'm going to jump in right here and say, on the Skeleton Key Network, prime example, we have Madam After Dark, Miss Robin Swanson. Robin does not run on the Things Network because of the content of her show. It is
And she runs on ours at night for the same reason.
right now we realize that she's 10 p.m. Central, time, and that's earlier in other places, and we get that. But being in our time zone, we're respecting our time zone. But that's why we put up, she's got waivers and, all that stuff. So everybody knows when you're going into the show,
Mhm.
it is a sexually based show. It's
And
not,
she does,
it
and she
doesn't
does
brand paranormal, you know, on that
well.
show.
And I did sit down and I did write for her a disclaimer that all guests have to be shown and know ahead of time. Because you don't want to be blindsided by that.
So yes, Jeremy, we know exactly the content you're talking about. So go right ahead and continue your story now.
So, so with that, and we did talk to another network. So, and we were trying to explain, okay, this is what we're doing. This is why we're doing this. Here you go. And next thing I know, everything gets blown way out of proportion. Poster made, and everybody is commenting on that. And not one person. No, I'm sorry. I shouldn't even say that. There were a couple people, but during that specific time frame for like 2 or 3 days, not one person came to us. After that, there were some people that sent me messages saying, "Hey, we saw what they posted on their page, and I just now saw the one that you did that me I posted, and it's like that makes perfect sense because everything they said just did not feel right. It was like they were intentionally trying to destroy you."
Well, see,
Um,
and here's and I think I can speak for Jess on this one too. See, here's the thing with Jess and I. Now, we've been really busy here on Skeleton Key and um Temple of Phoenix here because Rosie's got some things going on with her kids graduating into school year and stuff. So we're kind of, backing her up, sharing shows, things like that while she can't. Of course, we're working with things, doing the same when we're on. But I've got so much going on in my house. I'm not on Facebook. I'm not sitting there going to this network, reading what's happening or that network. So we weren't getting the full story. We were getting bits and pieces because I'm just not sitting there going and looking at everybody's post. If I did that, I wouldn't have time to live.
and Wayne, I actually forgot about that. The Drama Llama Awards. I forgot about that one. Um,
You definitely need to add that one.
I don't think it's still going on anymore. I know whoever did that one did it for a year, and I can say that wasn't me.
What can we just call it? The Karen Award?
Mm,
Actually, that would be a good name. um, but no, I forgot about that, and I remember the shitstorm that came from that one. It only lasted for a year or two, um, but that one there was out of the UK because the narrator, you could tell that he had that accent.
Right, right,
um, so so then after everything went and happened from all of that, um, next thing I know, we had that meeting, and I thought that was all based directly off of what happened there because, to his credit, he brought you to this network,
right.
True.
Well, and
and
that's why when we were told, and I'll be honest, Jeremy, when we had our exit interview with us, and me and Jess were sitting there, and you're telling us, well, a
Something
show
that was
idea.
110% different than what we had already been told at that.
Right. And then you said to us, that a show idea was brought to you because Unlocked Uncensored, that they weren't going to be outdone. And, Jess and I both nudged each other under the table, saying, he's so, calling you full of shit, because that was
We
not the
did.
story that had been painted. We did. Because that was not the story that had been painted. Because it was painted, I brought you. Why would I be, in competition? I love y'all. I support y'all. And, in fact, come co-host with me. And yeah,
so when that was going on, I told him, "You are not putting that show on my network." I told him that, and then one of my staff members, because I had actually forgotten about this, has said that we all agreed that we weren't going to censor anyone for anything. And I got to thinking,
right.
okay, well, let's see how this goes. But and I told him, you can do this thing on the network, but you have to follow these provisions. One, it has to be paranormal related. I mean, after all, that's what the Things Network is.
Right.
Two, you have to have a disclaimer, NC-17, in that our views are not the same as yours.
Right.
To his credit, he did put that on his flyer. Um, and
That's a good
then,
point, Jess. We need to add that to our disclaimer that our views are ours and not things or Temple of Phoenix or DNTV or, yeah, because we don't want
Wherever
thing.
else,
Yeah.
wherever else we happen to be airing, I'll have to
Yeah.
look and
Yeah.
see where all we're airing.
Yeah.
and then I found out that he was going to proceed on with the show, but on another network. I was like, you know what? If they want that on there, that is fine.
Right.
But I didn't find that out until after I told him you can put it on the network. And then, um, I don't know if I should say this, but
Go
there was
Go
ahead.
ahead.
Do it.
Go
Go
ahead.
a
ahead.
situation that happened when I was put in the hospital, from my accident, and because that was done on Thursday, their show was debuting on Friday, and there was actually an argument between the show hosts that day about whether or not they should do it. They should do that out of respect for me.
Right.
One person chose, I won't say what they said that he said, but he chose to do it anyway. And
Well,
then,
because some people are all about themselves and gaining fame and fortune for all the wrong reasons.
yes.
That's true.
And anybody who knows about me, I don't give a damn about being famous. Now, is my name out there and known amongst the people? Yes, but I'm not
Well,
intentionally.
and it's because you're a busy guy. You
Yeah.
got a lot going on.
hmm Um, and I'm constantly. created new things to do, as evident of everything that I have done.
Oh, well,
But
absolutely. Jess and I, because we were we started getting scared. We're about to get kicked off things, and so we went and started Skeleton Key
So
Network
we had
because
somewhere to go.
so we had somewhere to go because we had a few little people that watched us. So, but I will say since then, like, I want to do what Jeremy York does. Now that Skeleton Key has become what it is,
What it was never meant to be, if
it
we're
was
being
never
honest.
meant to be. But now it's like,
It
well,
it's just
if we're
grown
gonna do it,
organically over time.
yeah,
well, if
let's
you
do like
remember,
Jeremy did.
if you remember, I even encouraged you to do
Oh,
that.
absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I mean it because I what is wrong with wanting to create your own network if you're looking to um, do like a specific genre?
Right,
So why would I tell you no? You don't do that. You can't do that. No.
right.
Hmm.
So I'm going to encourage you because I thought that was a good idea.
Right. And I think
And
a lot of people think because we do these shows, and and I won't drop this name, but I'll just say it is one of the names that we have dropped already. But I won't call them out. Did a little pop in live the other day talking about everybody out there wants to be Facebook famous. So here I am. You see, then he's talking about you see the same old people all the time. Well, I think a lot of this kind of COVID has changed everything.
it
We
has.
can't get out there. I'm not gonna watch. I'm sorry, I don't watch Ghost Hunters, Ghost Avengers. I do now for the comedic value, honestly.
That's why we
Um,
all watch. Oh God, what's his name?
Zach,
Zach Bagans.
but I mean,
It's for the
it,
entertainment.
it is for the entertainment only with Zach Bagans. Now I do like Taps. As far as all the shows go, I'll give them credit. For probably being a little bit more as real as you can be on TV. We'll put it that way. For what they're edited version of paranormal investigating. You know, but for even though everybody's out living again, you know, some of us are not. Some of us are still trying to be safe and not be out there in large groups of people. And some of us want to learn.
I
And
mean, and
some of us
Terry, you've been pretty
enjoy.
open about it. You're a cancer survivor. It's kind of important for you not to be out there with everyone.
Yeah.
Right, right. So for us, this isn't about being famous or, you know, we did start this because we wanted. I have a very good friend that
This
works.
Terry. This comment reminds me of
Oh
someone,
yeah, yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
someone completely unrelated to anything we've talked
Well,
about.
not really because we kind of relate them both in the same category.
True,
I do call it mine. You know
but it's
what?
not anyone we've
Right,
discussed.
right, right. Um, Now that made me lose my damn train of thought. What the fuck was
Sorry,
I
I had to
saying?
share it.
What the fuck was I just saying?
Who
Um,
knows?
yeah, I lost it. It may come back. Anyway, shit, it just totally went away.
Well, it's also 12:04. We started at 11:10, so about 6 minutes.
I do want to
Yeah.
say that when I was in Vegas, somebody had sent me a message. Hey, go see Zach. Go see Zach in his museum, and I'm like, I don't got time for that.
Why would I give him money? He's making enough
Yeah.
money. And now I guess that's the point I was gonna make is a friend of mine works at one of these like the Red Cross or something, where people call to get help.
Mhm.
She knows what we do. She knows that we're paranormal investigators. A little old woman called one day, terrified Now, down here in the South, they call them Hanks. Have you ever had anyone refer to a ghost as a Hank to you?
I haven't.
You have not? Well, see, well, the first time I
If you
heard it, I
think
was
about
like,
it, it's spelled
uh,
very similar to haunt. If you think about it, it's spelled very similar to haunt. It's just an I instead of a U.
so yeah, so they call them Hanks. So this little old lady called in, scared to death because she has Hanks in her house. Now, my friend that works at the Red Cross can only give her the phone number for the Catholic diocese food unit. So, in reality, what are these people going to do? They're going to think the little old lady is crazy and they're going to hang up on her. Or they're going to tell her to go to church and pray. But you know, my friend was like, I wanted so bad to give her your number, Terry, but you know, they can't break protocol. And so that there was the deciding factor. If Jess and I would put ourselves out there like this, because I didn't want to do it. I never went Facebook Live. I don't do that shit. I didn't want you put yourself out there. You put yourself out there to be criticized. I
The
didn't
only
want to do
reason that
that.
we came out and started doing this is because we agreed that we would do it, but we had to do it together if we were going to be forced to be public.
Right.
'Cause neither
And
one of
because
us
we
are those
both
type
have
of people.
anxiety issues and all that. So, and people can be cruel, and put yourself out there. You're opening yourself up for people to be fucking mean to you.
Oh yeah.
They tell you you're too fat, you're too skinny, you're ugly. Me, I got a deep voice. I get that shit all the time. So there's a whole lot of reasons why we didn't put ourselves out there. But hearing about that little old lady needing someone, a paranormal team, was the deciding factor for us. It's not about fame. It's not about fortune. Want to talk about fortune? I've spent a fucking fortune in there on paranormal equipment. Ain't nobody bought that shit. I bought
and
that. What
we won't,
Jess has got, she
and we
bought.
sure don't make that money back.
Well, you spend. I've traveled all the way to freaking Florida, Louisiana, all on my fucking dime. Nobody paid me to do that shit. So I'm not here to be famous. I'm here to help people in need. I'm here to help the spirits in need. It's not about fame, it's not about fortune. And if that's what it's about for anyone out there listening, then you know what? You're going to sit and be miserable your whole fucking life. Period. Because
That that's the
you're
whole
in it for
point of
the
why I
wrong
do what I
things.
do. I'm here to help people, but at the same time, I also want to get recognition to other people because once people start recognizing them, so let's say Dawn for example, she's not out there a whole lot, and in fact, she even called me a little over a year ago, and it's how we actually first met, and I encouraged her to start putting herself out there because once you put yourself out there, people are going to realize what you do and what you're about. And once people who are having a situation at home, you know what? I heard about Dawn. I'm going to get a hold of her and have her come out and see if she can help me.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Well, I mean, and that's the thing. You know, do we have, 500 viewers watching? No. But, I've got a few people, my friends, family, or whatever. And if they share it on their page, and, you know, you just never know. Somebody may go, oh, you know what? I was scrolling through Jesse Wilson's page the other day, and I think her mom might be a paranormal investigator when her neighbor down the road says she has a problem. So that's why we're doing what we're doing
Yeah.
on Facebook, on, this vodcasting thing. It ain't about fame and fortune. Shit, Jess and I went from free little uh trial on StreamYard to now we're paying $50 a month. Ain't nobody paying that shit for us.
We just take turns paying it.
So, I will say when I seen that live from that the other day, kind of made me mad. And maybe I took it personal. Maybe it wasn't at me at all. Maybe I'm just sensitive with everything else that's going on out there. but I think it needs to be pointed out, and that's why we're having Jeremy on Sunday night too, y'all, because there's a whole lot of truths that need to be said, you
Mhm.
know, and if they're going to get out there and put their truth out there, well, then other people deserve the opportunity to put the truth out there as well. And I will say this, and I'm not saying me personally, except the situation I already handled this morning. And y'all are all very well aware of that already because I'm totally transparent and my shit. But I will put this out there for others. Y'all got some folks out there screenshotting y'all shit. So if y'all don't want somebody to know some shit, y'all should probably shut the fuck up.
That's why we
So
try
that's
not
all
to
I'm
say
saying.
anything.
Because
Try not to say
that's
anything we wouldn't say directly to the person. So
exactly because
Yeah,
that's how
herein lies
I've
the
gotten
problem.
all my
You have the right
information.
to remain silent, but some people don't have the ability.
that's true.
Yeah.
Right.
Me, I just sit back and I do my stuff. I don't worry about people bitching on
Right.
me because I ain't got time for that. I do not have any time for any negativity. But I will have a problem when like two members of my team getting bullied out of the paranormal field as a result of what we did because it was the right thing for the network.
Right.
Because of that, two people of my team got bullied out of the field.
I did hear some things about that. And I guess we're probably what at about noon now. Oh, we're afternoon. Oh, we actually have
Yeah, yeah. We're
till 12:30, don't we? If we
yeah.
need it. So, um, we won't get into all of that, but we will kind of wrap up. The paranormal awards people are not a competition. These vodcasts that we do are not a competition. Love and support everybody. Hey, every show may not be for you, and that's fine. You know, you don't have to bitch about it. Just move on and go find the show you want to watch. There's plenty of them out there. you know. And again, I'll put that warning out again. Y'all motherfuckers be out there saying some shit about some folks, and them folks be going to screenshot some shit and taking it to other folks. Terry down here in Alabama don't know half y'all folks, and screenshots are coming to me. So y'all just
Bring that one up if
wa-
you would.
y'all watch your ass. And if you think
So,
I said it, come ask me. I'm gonna tell you.
so one thing I do want to, um, whoever said that, that's on Temple. The awards are fun. So this is another
What
thing.
was said, I don't get to see the comments. What'd they say?
Somebody posted under the Phoenix name said the awards are fun. So,
Oh,
and another thing of getting people involved is getting other people to come in to be presenters for this thing.
right.
And if you have watched the first two, Jenny, if you have watched the the first two award ceremonies that have been done, some of these people have really gone out and put in a lot of effort into their videos for the presentation.
I
Jenny,
did go did go check. I watched a few minutes of it, but I'm so busy and I've spent so much time on Facebook with this,
yeah,
the networks and stuff. I didn't watch the whole thing, but I did like you and a few other presentations, and they were awesome. I thought they were great.
and Jenny, when she did hers for this year, uh, I don't remember if it was her idea or Aiden's idea to do the wolf howling when they panned the camera up to the moon and they started howling like wolves. I thought that was
Right.
funny. And then there was Robin Robin Ramsey. She did the male investigator awards, and she took that opportunity not only to have fun and to throw in quite a bit of acting, but at the same time take a subtle statement against the drama that we are having in the field. It's like, please don't unfriend me. Please don't unfriend me. Things like that.
Right.
The way that she did it in a brilliant way, as addressed in that.
Right.
Um,
Well, and I'm gonna put this out there because Jeremy's nice enough not to, but I do know for a fact that one of the people that are out there bitching now about the paranormal awards being bullshit is one of the people that originally thought it was a wonderful idea and is pissed off because he did not win anything.
to add to that, that person was a member of the Paranormal Awards committee.
And then, just because I gotta know, um, was that person actually legitimately nominated for anything legit other than
He
being vulgar, maybe?
he was. He was nominated for Mentor of the Year. Um, he was, I think, he was nominated for North American Ambassador as well. There were two or three that he was nominated for. Ironically, none of his podcasts were. Um, yeah, that's
Sorry.
really what I can say about
I'm
that.
on the I'm on the
I'm
ambassador.
shocked.
I'm the ambassador that
Um,
you know. The only thing I can say on that one is, boy, that's a Jenny Sullivan rant right there. And y'all know exactly, if you've talked to Jenny, you know what Jenny rants about the most in the paranormal field. And that's all, I won't get in all that, but how can you nominate somebody that, and we'll just put Jenny Sullivan rant right there and,
Leave it there.
and leave it there. So that's who, and I guess you're able to nominate yourself in these things. Are
yeah,
they?
absolutely. You can nominate yourself if you want to,
So
and
are
we've had
these?
some
Are
people do that.
these? Are these? I was just gonna say, do people like submit these things anonymously?
Well,
No,
this is actually something one person, we one of our committee meetings was brought in by the other person. That's
Mm-hmm.
how into the committee he was.
Right.
And
don't be,
now it's
don't
like,
be.
oh, I think the paranormal awards are shit. It's a competition. If you're gonna do this, you need to include everybody. If you include everybody, you're gonna have a million names on there on each category.
Right.
That's not gonna work.
That's just trying to stack the odds in your favor to make sure you win something.
Yeah. Um,
Don't tell Terry they're anonymous. Last time she found some anonymous when she freaking nominated me for something, and I was ready to kill her.
so we're actually working. Yeah, exactly. So how are you going to be able to vote out of 1,000 people? That's
Right.
why you need to
Yeah.
narrow it down. That's why they do it at the Academy Awards.
Well,
They
and
narrow it down to specific people. The same
the
thing with the Grammys. They narrow it down. You know, let's say there's a song out there that is just brilliant. It is just brilliant. Well, it's not on the voting form.
right.
Okay, it didn't get voted, but it's
Right.
still my favorite. But that
Right.
doesn't mean I'm going to badmouth it.
I mean, yeah, if I had my way, I'd still be putting when Stevie Nicks should win everything all the time, everywhere for every music thing, and Led Zeppelin, Robert Plant, you know. So there you have it. It just
Yeah.
don't work that way in the world, and I know that we give all of our kids trophies and blue ribbons because we want to, teach them that everything counts. But I thought my belief on that is we're setting them up that they don't know how to lose. If everybody gets something, then it makes a bunch of damn sore losers. And now we got
Mhm.
adults. on Facebook raising hell about something that they helped be a part of inventing because they didn't win. That is
And,
so childish and so petty. And
and last year when I brought it out, they were saying, "Oh, whoever made this up is doing this so that he can get awards." I didn't get a single one last year. Okay, this year I did win. All right, and it was by pretty big margin on some of those. And
what academy?
there were
What
other
academy?
categories that
Yeah,
was
what
won by a
academy did
small
you win, Jeremy?
Academy. What category? What category?
What
What award?
category? Yeah,
yeah,
what category was it?
that I
Yeah,
Mhm.
North American ambassador, contributor, and Facebook group page.
awesome.
And I'm telling you, everything is legit. I am not rigging these things. I don't give a shit if I win or not, but I
Right.
did. And I'm pretty sure I ended up getting sympathy votes because of my accident. I'm not going to lie about that. I probably did.
I think
And
people just like you, Jeremy, because you're a good guy
thank
and
you.
your heart's in it for the right reason. And that's why
Yeah.
people would
And
vote for you.
the paranormal awards are going to continue on. The the intention is to be able to get like a little certificate and have them all screen printed and everything and mail them out to the people.
Right. You know, and I think
Good
that's
job.
cool because look, let me tell y'all what I did. Okay, it just, you know, we ain't gonna name no names. But when I
I'm
started in the when I started in the paranormal field, I I think the tractors are coming. I'll try to make it quick. I started with another team. I paid money. I paid money to listen to this guy talk for 8 hours on a Zoom call about something I could have wrote in 4 paragraphs, and I paid money to get a certificate to say that I had done that class, y'all. So, you know, this paranormal class, because that meant something to me. So, you know, hey, I think it's cool to get some kind of little award certificate, you know, just showing it's not the competition. If you're looking at it as competition, you're looking at it the wrong way. It's just that simple.
Yeah. And next year we are looking to get away from doing the emails thing and doing it to where you go to the website and thank you, Rosie, and select it on the website and vote that way instead of
That would
doing an
be good.
actual email.
Hey, you know what? Well,
I'm not
I
even
was
going to
going
ask
to
about that.
suggest, I was going to suggest that since Wayne feels that way, maybe you should ask him to be on your committee for next year,
Mhm.
like a special seat.
If,
You know,
Don't ask him. Don't ask him to read your cards though. His cards
if
were
he'd
reading.
be willing to. Because right now
the
there's only three of us on the committee, and I don't want to make it a big committee because then there's going to be infighting, and
right.
I want to
Now
avoid
we're
that.
gonna have a Will Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have Will
So
Smith. I
Might
love
have
Jeremy's hair too. He's
might
always
have one
got good hair.
anyways.
yeah, I am not going to ask you about
Wait,
that.
wait, pop that comment and Wayne back up. What did he just say about a few hundred bills?
He be trying to buy something over here.
Oh, see, look, Wayne, we trying to put you on the committee so you could go rig it all.
Yeah.
But I mean,
So
y'all
we
see,
we are going to be working some things out and trying to improve on the voting process for next year so that we can get away from the emails. Because honestly, going through all those emails and then putting the little tick marks on the thing that is time consuming. Now, if
well, you know,
uh,
you might talk to. wherever she just over there, she might have
Right here.
some kind of answer, something to do to make that easier for you.
I'm not gonna lie. I had clicked and opened something and was trying to close it, and I didn't hear. What are you volunteering me for?
I'm not volunteering you, but I'm saying you might be able to help them make it easier instead of the email. You know how they have to email the votes in and shit. Think there might be something you could do to make it easier, like a voting ballot or something,
Yeah,
But
an
one thing we're
yeah.
looking
online.
at is Google Documents.
That's what I was gonna say. That's actually what we use for the anonymous confessions for the.
Yeah.
I set that up. That's why they never know. That's why everyone is always dying when I read the things. They, even though I have
Yeah,
given them
we
editor
don't see them.
access, we know that Terry is not good with tech. So nobody else reads them before but me. So they literally hear them for the first time when we air.
Plus, it keeps them fresh, and y'all get to see
And
our
But
and
Google's
reactions.
always
that's
way.
why I told Terry, always make sure you use the bathroom before you get on that show.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yes,
Nobody but me reads them,
Yeah.
unless on the nights I've not been on there because I've been dealing with health stuff. I send a couple to each person, so nobody hears them all.
yeah. The
So
day that Jess missed it, we all got our confessions sent
Oh,
to us separately, so then the rest of us didn't know what the other ones were gonna say.
and the little situation that you had today,
hmm
Hmm.
um, who was also doing the back and forths with
screenshots.
me.
hmm
Hmm.
That
And then
person
from
wanted an
also
issue.
I hear
Wait,
Nick
hold on,
Mulette.
that person what?
That person won an award this year.
Oh, I saw that. What? No, I posted the link earlier when I was on
Yeah.
that website. I saw that.
Wow. And of course, I know you can't take back an award, but honey, all the screenshots that were sent out there. And I don't because you don't trash talk anybody. You're like me. If you're gonna say it, you can come on here and say it. Um,
Well, and
but I
here's the
think it
funny
would be
thing.
more probably maybe your ideas or plans or future things you had coming up were probably maybe the screenshots of yours being sent. Now, I also heard through the grapevine today that that person with the situation today, and she knows damn well who she is, was also doing that to Nick Muley and Drew Nichols. And I'm going to make this a public statement. Talk shit about me. Tell everybody I'm bringing black magic to you. Leave these other
Uh,
people alone. Leave
but
them
but
alone.
but but be forewarned, she probably will if you talk about it.
I'm just saying, if whatever you say someone is doing to you,
Oh no,
whether it be
I'm
me
saying
or
I'm
whether no,
saying
I'm
that.
putting this out there to her. Whatever
Oh
you were
yeah,
going, whatever you were out there telling people that I'm doing, or that Drew's doing to you, or Jeremy's doing to you, or Jess is doing to you, whoever you're out there whining and bitching, they're sending me black magic. They're doing this. They're keeping me sick in bed. May it all come back to you just as you tell the
well, that's,
story.
see, I was putting that out to her as well. I was saying, but be careful saying that about Terry because if you say she's sending you black magic, she just might.
And the thing about me, if you want to talk shit about me, you know what? I don't give a damn.
I don't either.
You can talk all you want because all you're going to do is make yourself look bad.
Right?
Because because I don't have time for you.
You would be shocked, Joshua. You would be shocked. Anytime you get any sort of field where there
Yeah,
are a lot of
it really
people,
has gotten
they're
bad,
gonna
and it's
have
gotten bad here in the last couple of months, honestly.
There's been a lot of
Yeah,
egos
and the
involved.
way
there's
that
a whole lot
you know what, if you're going to
that
bring
can be
drama
traced
all over
back.
the place, I ain't got time for you. I'm cutting you off.
Well,
And
you know
I've
what?
had to do it.
It took me leaving things, going somewhere else, some things happening there, and then some other things happening, and then some other thing. And it was like I'm sitting back watching all this, going, what's the common denominator in all this? And
Mhm.
even though it was all different situations, it was one single common denominator.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to leave that right there.
Well, I'm
Y'all
not.
take
It
it and
rhymes
figure it
with
out.
powered. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. And I don't go to people talking shit about other people. I don't do that at all. I ain't got time to.
I mean, you see, if we're gonna do it, here we are doing it live on Facebook. Make of it what they will.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Jump on, say something, defend yourself,
But
bring it to me in private message phone, whatever. Well, I'm speaking my truth because I'm hearing all this other shit being said out there about me and Jess, Jeremy begged us back and we did this and we did that.
Nope,
Bitch,
getting to
bitch,
begging.
bitch, if I did it, I'm gonna tell you I did it. And that's all there is to it. If I
You
said
leave,
it, I'm gonna
you're
tell
leaving
you
the
I
D
said
off
it.
the end. There's a
Yeah.
D on the end of that, Wayne. I just ain't got no teeth in the front right now still, so I can't make some of them sounds real well. I sound like Alabama,
Right.
and I can say that I live here.
yeah, I don't go to people.
There we
People
go.
have come to me and say,
Same.
"Hey, this is being told. I want to let you be aware of this, or hey, I'm hearing about this situation. Can you tell me what's going on from your knowledge?" People come to me. I don't
I mean,
go to
hell, that's
people.
what we did when we came
Yeah,
back. That's what we did. We came directly to you and said, "Hey, what's really going on?"
yeah, and I'll tell you exactly what happened. And
Oh,
we just lost Terry.
she hit the damn button. I can guarantee it. You saw her fiddling with the screen.
It's easy to do that on the phone.
It is.
Um,
There she comes.
and it,
Don't be hitting no
if
buttons,
you want
Terry.
the story straight up, come to me and I will tell you what happened.
Hmm.
And you did that.
Yep. We were honest when we first left. And we were honest when we came back.
Right.
Yeah. And I
So,
told you the same thing. And when Rosie and I were talking, because of what she was being told, she thought that I was trying to get rid of her from the network. And no, I am not trying to get rid of you at all.
no,
Uh,
And
Wayne,
I
we
even
love
told
that
on,
her,
about you.
I think we're talking about the 13th Dimension Sunday night. That's one of the things we're talking about Sunday
Right.
night, right?
Right.
So we didn't actually talk about that today. Today was the paranormal awards and just the uptick in drama in the paranormal world,
yeah,
and you know,
Today, Terry woke up and chose violence. Let's just tell it like it
and
is.
Terry had to wake Jessica up 8 minutes to 11 when we were supposed to start at 11, so Jessica chose violence too.
hey, good morning.
Well,
Um,
now granted, I get up with my kids at 5:30 in the morning for school, so
okay.
I got up and went back to sleep.
So anybody who wants to know the situation, I'll tell you, I'm just not going to be the kind of guy who goes public unless I absolutely have to. If there is no other thing that I can possibly do, and probably even that, I don't go public with stuff. And the
Well,
Right.
only
you
time I ever gone public was when I put out that statement about a week after the other statement was put out, and that was it. And that was when people started messaging me saying, when I saw your statement, that's when everything made sense.
Right. And I don't
And
yeah,
know that I've seen that statement because I think we were in
we did.
we were, yeah,
We
maybe,
saw
yeah.
it, but at that point, we were still we were
And
still in
it
that
was in the
whirlpool.
whirlwind.
you were under the influence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess that's
And
it.
that is
Well, I mean,
understandable,
really,
Wayne. You absolutely have the
really,
right not to be in the middle.
well, absolutely. And really, though, Jeremy, we we weren't being influenced. It really was. Well, we were being influenced that we thought we were also being a target on things. So it was
Yeah.
like, let's get the hell out before they throw us out because it looks better to quit than get fired.
Yeah, basically, y'all ain't fixing to dump us. We're dumping you.
Right.
It was.
So we
Yeah.
were influenced by that, that we were on our last leg anyway. But obviously that's not true. But anyway,
Right. Yeah. And I told you
there's
that there was never nobody had brought up any kind of discussion as far as throwing your show off the network or anything like that. And there never was.
Now
All there was is
we
just
did
that
have the
one concern about that one specific episode. I brought it up
right,
to you, and everything was handled in a very adult fashion.
well, and I
right,
think
And
what didn't help was we did have the other person that was involved, telling us that,
yeah,
oh hey, your practice, that's taboo. We don't want that. This is family friendly. But that
yeah,
did not
and
come from you, and we should have probably came and asked you.
right.
yeah,
Yeah. So yeah.
come and ask me. I will tell you. I'll
Well,
tell you
yeah, but
straight up.
in that time too, you were still, very much wounded, and so, and there again, I don't really want to bring everybody into the bullshit, and
No,
Mhm.
she said it to us. You didn't say it, so I felt like, well, I'm not gonna go to Jeremy and say, well, she said this about us.
it made us feel
Um,
like we were tattletaling.
right, right.
And
So
it was like, well, if we go and tattletale this and he already knows, then we look dumb as hell.
right,
So it was a lot of little things that made us ripe for the pickings
right.
with how we were influenced.
Yes, it made us easy targets to be used in a war that we really didn't
We
know.
didn't even have a dog in that race.
Right.
Yeah, I mean and now we know that there's some shit that goes way back before all this. We
And
didn't know
this is
it.
so true.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
Perfect.
we didn't know anything about all the birth of things, and I've heard some. We were, but then when you sit back and you're quiet and you watch, and it doesn't take long to see what's what and who's real and who's out for number one and who
Yeah.
is gonna fuck you in the ass the minute they can.
And let me just
And
go ahead and repeat rhymes with that.
Yeah. So that's why I'm always willing to help people. So
right,
Yep.
right.
Well, we are actually at almost 12:40 now,
Yeah,
our
we
time.
better wrap up, and so yeah.
yeah,
We'll
Yep.
see you
and
Sunday
I gotta I
night.
gotta do something with my dad before I'm on the next show because I'm going to be on the Rev show here in 2.5 hours.
Oh yeah, go
Well,
get your
you
stuff
you
done and
you
Yeah.
need the Reverend after you've had Terry. I know that's the truth. You need to go be blessed after you've been on with
are
me.
you with the Rev today?
Well, that's just it. He's asking me to bring Rance to his show. I'm like, are you sure you want me to do that?
Well, there's probably a
Right,
reason that he picked you and not Terry, at least.
right,
We
right.
don't want Terry to rant on anybody else's show. We have our own shows for that.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. And
So
and
it's
this
gonna,
this today really wasn't supposed to be that kind of show, but I guess because
Bullshit starts early.
right, and the paranormal awards are kind of have been a hot topic, and it just it keeps coming
thank
up
you.
and it keeps coming up. So we just wanted to clear some air,
And
put some truth out there.
like I said, we'll see him on Sunday night for little less
Part two.
censored part two, and we will see you guys for the live investigation.
No, we're not. We're not live.
No, we're not live investigating. Just kidding. But if you pay
Oh,
attention to the pages, maybe we'll post some things while we're there.
We might give you a little teaser somewhere.
Yeah, I
okay.
forgot about that. So, my one-liner for the day is just that. Like, yep.
Well, I was